Good morning, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the energies for this week with today's Monday's Musings. This is actually the second time I've started to record this because despite the information coming through for this reading and the importance not to get too caught up in too many different ideas and be scattered amongst the winds almost, I did exactly that. The reason being I wanted to bring to light that today is Blue Monday. It's also, as we know, Inauguration Day and Martin Luther King Day. It feels important to bring that to the awareness, to acknowledge the strategy behind it. And the strategy behind it that I'm being asked to focus on with this video is to decide what we focus on. You know, Blue Monday has come from research showing that people round about this time of year feel a lot more low than they would the rest of the year, which to an extent is to be expected. We're in winter, we are still in that time of endings. We are still in that moment of almost being cold, as you can hear from my own physical embodiment of this truth right now. We are in the process of change and not wanting to be here. We all long for the spring, we all long for things to shift. That can leave us discombobulated within the environment that we find ourselves. Almost necessarily so that we can look at what we're focusing on, or rather what we're being asked to focus on. The other thing, obviously, Inauguration Day, different powers coming into play here, and there being a lot of strategies behind that as well. Martin Luther King Day, Do We Dare to Dream? Bringing all of these aspects together, recognizing the underlying current underneath is about how we see things. The power that has on, over, or within us, and our ability to dream something different for our future. We can feel low with everything that is occurring, and we can get really lost in that as part of the process. But completing that process, remembering that the 9-year is about completion. So I'm not suggesting we bypass what we may be feeling, to with authenticity sense into what that actually is, the truth beyond focusing on external things, and going really within and acknowledging what is going on for us. From there, being honest with what is actually being asked of us as well. So today, an example, I have a cold, or rather I can feel shifts in my body occurring, and they're occurring because of the adaptations in my home. Things have become more efficient, more warm, and my body isn't used to it. It's used to being in fight or flight. It's used to being constantly taught on many levels, but I meant more on the tension level, being in that energy. Relaxing as the home warms up. Obviously things that I haven't had time to face are slowly coming to the surface. And I'm cleansing, I am purging on many levels. Now this morning I could wake up and think, right, my throat is sore, my nose is blocked, and I did physically. And then I obviously tuned into what that meant on a spiritual and energetic level. You know, I can really sense my third eye is opening. I can really sense the seers rights that we gift in the Moon Eye Key, the light filaments from my third eye to my ultra major and around my crown chakra, really highlighted at the moment and upgrading, evolving at the moment. And I'm acutely aware collectively of our voice, you know, almost losing our voice and not being able to hear what is going on. However, for this purpose of this video and everything that I ever do, it's about bringing the emphasis back to the individual. We can be very aware of what is going on. We can feel the changes. But if we cannot hold space responsibly for what is occurring within us, that has a huge impact on the world that we then decide to see, based on our own pain, our own shadows, our own trauma, and our own reactions. Now, I'm not suggesting there's one right or wrong way of doing it. However, with this video, we will look into the energies this week, but it is about how we can best navigate them. That is individual. The best way to step into our personal power is to acknowledge that it's personal and that it's within us always, and to keep tapping into that, to keep coming back to the heart space. The other thing with depression, a lot of depression or mental health concerns come from not being in the body. And that can happen for many reasons, but from not being in the body and not being authentic with what the body is feeling. So Yes, physically, my body is purging. I'm also on an incredibly never-ending cycle physically as well, as I transition into different parts of my own femininity. There are changes, there are cycles coming to an end, to a completion. It may feel as if they are never ending, it may feel as if nothing is changing, but going into that truth, feeling into your body, how are you really? So this morning, with everything going on, if I can allow space for what I'm feeling, there's a calmness there, there's a peace there. Now, like last week, I'm sharing this video quite early, and I'm sharing it's going to be more direct and quicker as a result of the improvements in my home. And that feels really poignant as well. All of the things that are happening around us, these changes that are happening around us, are having an impact on us. They are bringing up old stories, they are bringing up old pains, old wounds, but also old medicine under there as well. It all depends on what we choose to focus on. And again, there's no right or wrong, but just ensure it is what you are here to focus on. Don't take anyone else's opinion above your own, my own included. Only you know yourself. And if this life is nothing else, it's about understanding who you are to the core. Okay, so the improvements, I need to share the improvements that are being done, and they are the kitchen, the doorway and the bathroom. And it feels really poignant there that there's something about portal openings, the ability to allow different energy to come into our home. That feels on an elemental level. You know, we're seeing a lot of the fires everywhere. I'm also being made acutely aware of water of late. There's a lot of upgrades going on in the elements, what makes us think our bodies would be any different. Okay, so our bodies are a micro version of the external. So anything that we're feeling, yeah, it's those shifts as well that are occurring outside within us. We are not separate from that. And if we take anything from all of this, the more we recognize that we're not separate, including those things we may not like, that we are impacted and affected by that, the quicker we can realize that we can have an impact and affect that as well. Empathy is a beautiful, beautiful trait that we are all capable of. I see a lot of posts, people saying they're an empath. We are all capable of feeling things, so therefore we are all capable of being empathic on varying levels based on our experience and our life. It is a gift. It is a superpower, if you will, to acknowledge what is going on for you based on what is around you, recognizing that you are so connected. You can then flip the narrative and know that you are connected enough to have an impact as well. So this week it is all about what we choose to focus on, what side of that coin we choose to focus on. Yes, having the kitchen done, having the bathroom done. So there's lots there, cleansing of the heart space. So the kitchen is the hearth of the home. There's a lot of cleansing of the heart space going on. And I can say that that does open up the seer rights within my own body, and also the third eye. There's lots of changes going on with the third eye, with the Ultra Major, and with the filaments of our crown chakra and the light that's coming in. It is in the aura. You can really sense there's an almost buzzing in the aura at the moment. Huge upgrades, downloads, whatever you want to call it, but they all come from our ability to have an open heart. And I appreciate that can be really difficult when things are so confusing and so discombobulating, upsetting, however it is you want to look at it. However, remember, there is always a strategy behind things, your own included. So what are you gaining by focusing on the things that you're focusing? My throat this week is very full. There's a lot to be said, but also a lot to be heard, because my ears are very muffled too. So going within, there's a shadow aspect here. In the Moon Eye Key, the throat is Huascar. There's a lot of shadow, underworld energy rising to the surface, our own included. So recognize what you're focusing on, because in doing so, you're recognizing what actually within you wants to be brought to light and worked with as well. I'm not a big fan of changing or fixing, but working alongside. There are things there. So for me, when I go into the silence that my throat wants to invoke, when I move beyond the I haven't got a voice and I can't hear, and I go through that process, in the silence, there's a deep, calm, embodied presence that's trying to come through. And that will be different for you all on whatever level you want to take that. this reading included. Okay, so with that in mind, I have about 20 minutes. So the hangman at the bottom of the pack, it is always an opportunity to see things from a different perspective, but moreover ourselves. You know, we can really focus on what we can't do, or we can focus on what we can do. And that, as we lead into the new moon, I've written a blog about it. It's up on Spotify, and it's coming out Friday, I think. A blog about the new moon. It's going to ever more be present, our ability to hold the vision, to manifest the vision, to become the vision of the future that we're trying to create. Okay, so I feel like I want to talk more about that, but it isn't actually needed. Allowing things that resonate to just resonate without wondering why they do. Not just the positive things, but perhaps the more negative aspects. Why is something calling you out? You know, why are you being glimmered by something? It's a wonderful opportunity to see where you're at. And when we see where we're at, we can see the world that we are creating, envisioning. Yeah, how many more times can we talk about the fact that we create the world we see, and we do that from where we are. Okay, so much about law of manifestation and authenticity, and you know, there's no judgment there. There isn't any right or wrong there, but there is a desperate need for awareness to not practice what we preach, not even embody what we're talking about, but to believe believe what we believe on a different level. To have that faith, not necessarily in external things, but in ourselves, as the creator of some of the external things that are occurring. And I added the sum of, because I feel a bit uncomfortable with saying that we are responsible for everything occurring. However, that is the energy that we're working towards, that agency, that accountability. It is there. And I can really feel that shifting the root chakra. And even in myself, there's avoidance there. So having compassion with that. For me, it's not wanting to be too stern, too harsh. And not wanting the backlash. And yeah, there can be an element of that this week when we stand in what is true for us. There can be an almost element of backlash. Remembering that anything that is shared with us can only actually resonate with us if we believe it to an extent. Okay, so energies this week. How to best navigate them. The world. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see that at the bottom of the pack. However, it feels this week that people may be surprised to see the impact that they have. It feels as though collectively we may be in our own little bubble. It can be really comfortable, can't it, to think, well, there's nothing we can do about X, Y, Z, or, you know, we're helpless to a situation. And that's what I see as harsher energy is coming through. But it isn't harsh, it's an empowering energy. It's what I would call the midwife in me that would say, well, you need to put your chin down and push now. You know, no one can do these things for us. We can have support, we can feel safe, we can be heard and listened to. But ultimately, this week with the World card at the bottom, there are bubbles being burst in how we perceive ourselves and our own power and our own ability to make a difference in the world that we long to see. That can cause a bit of discombobulation, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, overall. Okay. I was almost a little bit disappointed then because I couldn't see any major arcanas in the week until the end of the week on the Sunday, which is the star card. And it doesn't actually feel as if, I'd love to say that the star card is guiding us all week. However, it feels more on the Sunday that starts to become clear. Until then, there's a lot of human activity that needs to take center stage. There's a lot of characters that need to be played out, either externally or internally. And you know, underneath the World card, we do have the Magician. It's just starting to peep through. It is about that as above, so below, but as within, so without as well. Recognizing, particularly on the Monday, we have the Four of Cups, any boredom, any apathy, any, oh, well, there's nothing I can do. What's the point of trying X, Y, and Z? recognizing the impact that that's having on us emotionally, recognizing the impact that's having on the view that we have of the world around us, but also our ability to create something different. It's important that we feel into this. It's not about bypassing the energy that it's not about bypassing that. It's about really sensing into that so that we can acknowledge what it is we want to change, what it is we feel we should change, and any gaps or differences that are there, because there is an opportunity to open ourselves further. It's perfectly normal to want more of our world, of ourselves, of our relationships, not in the place that they're not enough, but in the fact that we have grown, that we may need more to sustain our needs. However, it is our responsibility to find that, not the external. So if we're feeling lacking almost on the Monday, where is that coming from within? Okay, and what is it we need to provide for ourselves there? When I sense into that, I'm almost acutely aware of whether or not that's my projection. And come Monday into Tuesday, there may be some projections, there may be some gaslighting, but really going back to your core of your own truth and your authenticity. When we state our truth, those around us may not appreciate that because it may invite them to stand in their own. They don't have to, but the more we stand in our authenticity, the more that permission is given to others, which can be a wonderful thing when it's positive, and not so much if it's uncomfortable to what people want to hear. And on the Tuesday, as you can hear myself faffing around, we have the Queen of Swords, Queen of Songs, Queen of Psalms, I wanted to say. It is about standing in our truth. I'm looking at the bird above me and the vocal cords are really open here. And it is the more we open to our own truth, for ourselves first and foremost, and then to others, the more we are opening our ability to create with whatever is given to us. And on Tuesday, we may feel more of a calling with that. It's not that we don't care about situations or people around us. It is that the calling is stronger. Okay, so once we can feel through the disenchantment that may be obvious on the Monday with the world at large, once we can go within and actually sense what's going on with us, we will hear that calling to rise, to stand in ourselves from a far more evolved perspective, a far more expansive perspective and connection. And from there, it's not about shouting, screaming, chucking our dolls out of the pram or anything like that. It's about acknowledging our own truth first and foremost before we then give and expect in return. Because on the Wednesday, it's the Six of Pentacles. That harmony does come from recognizing that we receive what we give. And I need to sit with that discomfort of that, because obviously on a human level, I'm going to feel that as well. But I'm also going to feel the potential discomfort that that's going to cause for others. Take it, leave it. That's the choice we're being faced with this week. For me, to know that I receive what I give, that gives me power. To know that actually if I need more, it's my responsibility to give more to myself and to others around me. That may not work for you. So come the Wednesday, figuring out what brings you balance, what brings you harmony, physically in particular. And standing in that, because on the Thursday we go from the Queen of Swords, the need to nurture our mindset, to applying that to life and actions in the King of Swords. It's one thing to have this wisdom, it's another thing to apply it to life. One of the things I'm noticing, a lot of healers in particular, myself included, are being encouraged and guided to use our gifts for ourselves. So we can do these things for other people. Can we do them for ourselves? Can we stand in our truth? Do we believe in what we share? Do our actions match that? On the Thursday, that's going to be pivotal, because as we lead into the fun day on Friday, there is a invitation there to open our heart to our fullest potential in the Ten of Cups, to recognize that our body is the rainbow bridge. So whatever we are feeling is a beautiful indication to look at where we're not in harmony, where our actions aren't aligned, where we're not nurturing a more direct mindset, and why we may feel apathy with that, with ourselves and our environment as a result. Come the Friday, what brings us joy? What opens our heart? It's one thing to say go back to the heart all the time, but if the heart is damaged, if the heart has been through trauma, if the heart isn't sure, or if the mind has taken over from the heart, it can be very hard to go back into that space. What does the heart need to bring? The Ten of Cups is a beautiful card, but it's also completion. To bring completion, to allow the body to take things to the next level. We can say, let go of the narrative. We can say, step into the power of X, Y, and Z. But for whatever reason, if we emotionally can't, what does the heart need? What do these energy centers need in order to feel safe enough as the rainbow bridge, above and below, as the rainbow body to step from the human into the Homo luminous? What do we need to share our light? It's going to be different for everyone. On the Friday, writing down perhaps 10 things that bring you joy and initiating some kind of plan to ensure that you achieve them. Because then on the Saturday, we have the Six of Cups. Be mindful of time. I feel that. I feel a heaviness in the heart, but also an acceptance. Be mindful of the time that we have with the things that we love. On the Saturday in particular, things may come up to help us restore harmony in what is important to us. It is the Six of Cups. Yes, it can be related to the inner child, but what is the inner child if not innocence and emotions and joy and fun? So it's all related to that and our more animal instincts. So in this card, I'm going to show you, it has a puppy that then becomes an older dog and a child that becomes an older man. So in this card in particular, our animal instinct, our light, our selka, we've opened up to that. And the more we do that, the more we will see how much we have matured. Sometimes feeling as if we're running out of time, feeling as if we're under pressure, feeling as if things may not be flowing the way that we want, can be a wonderful opportunity to open ourselves up to what it is we need. Rather than fighting that, rather than berating that side of us that wants more love, acceptance, joy, connection, what are those 10 things that are going to bring you that? Because on the Sunday, that's when we align. That's when we align with the vision. I'm trying to think when the new moon is. I think it's on the Monday or Tuesday. On the Sunday, we align with the vision in the star card. And it is about seeing things from a higher perspective, but we can only do that when we see ourselves from a higher perspective. We can only see change when we are able to stand in our fullness. So this week is a beautiful opportunity to look at where we can't, where we may feel disinterested in what is going on, where we may not be aligned in how we care for our mindset, where we may not be in balance in what we give and what we receive, where our actions may need a bit more authenticity. What do we enjoy? What helps us flow? What helps our body to feel well enough, to initiate these changes? Because in the World card, it is our physical body that is the answer. It is our physical body that is the home. How do we care for ourselves? That can be a real indicator of how we care for what is going on around us. Overall, we have the Eight of Wands. With that alignment underneath it, the Magician is just poking its head up. It feels like it will be more into next week. But overall, we have the Eight of Wands. There is wonderful opportunity always for ease, grace, manifestation, the laws of the universe, co-creation, whatever you want to call it. It's there constantly in who we are in the world. Regardless of our vibration, it will happen. So it's more about recognizing where our frequency is at. I want to say where our head is at, but it isn't. It's our frequency. It's in our aura. So these are deep seated programs that are being shifted. Our human body, one of the things we do with the Moon Eye Key is recognize that the human body restores itself. Within 18 months to 3 years, the whole human body has reproduced itself. So why do we continue to feel diseases? The hard drive, the aura, the programs that are in our system. This week is a wonderful opportunity to look at that. There is stuff coming in from higher vibrations as well, more of a galactic nature coming in as well, but none of that can really happen. Or no, it can happen, but only at the level that we are at. So the clearer we are as a system, the clearer these changes will be, the clearer our direction will be. If we would take our car to the garage, we would get it MOT'd, we would look after it, we would put the right petrol in, we would take care of that vehicle. The body is the same. As above, so below, as within, so without. It is time to really step up and take guardianship of the container that creates with this sacred source that runs through us. So let's bring some closure here. That is also the key this week. There is an opportunity of bringing closure. You know, that is one of the things we can do to change any programming, is to decide what we focus on about that and whether or not we're done with it. And it can be that easy. Yes, it may be a continual process. I have OCD, so some of the compulsive thoughts that go through my mind are humdingers, but I can decide, you know, with that same energy of OCD, which ones I choose to focus on. Okay, so using what may be a negative connotation for you in a more positive way is what's going to shift things this week. So how you receive aspects of yourself and what you do with it is what's going to bring that harmony. In order to do that, what brings you joy? What opens you up to yourself? When we are playing small, when we are restricted for whatever reason, we don't feel safe in the environment. So how can we change that? How can we help our body to feel safe? We are the consorts on a soul level of our physical body. This is a relationship that will last your whole life. Take yourself on a date. Explore yourself with curiosity. You know, have some fun. Create with whatever your body is feeling. Rest, nurture, whatever it is you need. See your body as the child that it is and start taking care of it. So completion, that was the other thing. Yes, deciding I'm done with that. That is a very responsible, accountable thing to do. Now, I was going to say, I'm not going to say you can do that with illnesses or whatever, but who am I to say that? The level at which you can be complete is up to you and your belief in it. And again, I can't say it enough, there is no judgment there. If you're unable to do that, okay, next, try again. Keep trying, okay? Keep doing, keep applying. It's only in the medicine of our actions that the true beauty and wisdom of our understanding and learning is evident, okay? So, major arcanas, we do have the Magician underneath, and much as I would love to concentrate solely on that, there is a urge to want to create and just concentrate on what we're creating and manifesting and being in alignment and magic. However, it is underneath it all and it's not there yet. What's more pivotal with the major arcanas this week is to see with the Star card and the World card the vision that you are. None of this is possible if you don't believe in yourself. None of, well, it is, it will just overtake your whole system, whether that's your nervous system, your body system, your mental systems, it will just overtake it. It doesn't have to be that uncomfortable this week. It's about believing in yourself and giving yourself what you need in order to do that. Seeing the vision that you are in this world and the impact that you can have. Okay, so then on a minor arcana level, we have 1, 2, 3 cup cards, 1 wand card, 2 sword cards, and 1 pentacle card. So we have 2 sword cards, and they are the Queen and King of Swords. There's a real sacred union there between the masculine and the feminine, and that feels obvious. And part of me thinks, well, can it be that easy? Can it be that obvious? Yes. When we're in alignment, yes. When we're nurturing our mind and our thoughts and, being aware of them but not controlled by them, when our actions are true to how we feel and who we are, yes, it can be that simple. And sometimes one of the hardest things for change is letting go of the story that comes with how difficult it was. Okay, so our endurances aren't everything. They're not everything. Yes, they've helped us to rediscover who we were, but we were always that person throughout it. It can be that simple when you keep aligning to the frequency of your I am presence, of your higher self, of your adult self, of your future self, whatever you want to call it. When you align to the person you want to be, the person that you actually are, acknowledging they are one and the same, not bypassing where you are at this moment, but using it as a doorway, as a bridge, as an opening to that, remembering within you. Yeah, you may have to keep doing it. It may be every minute on the minute, but eventually, like any addiction, the craving to be something that you're not will stop. It will get less. Of course, it may be triggered by energies around you or whatever, but for the most part, the more you stand in that, then the less those things will come because there's nothing to learn from them. Okay, we then have undecided whether to use the Wands or the Pentacle card first, and there's a indecision in regards to the emotions this week. What's to come first, our actions or our physical responsibilities? And that is really based with the whole what I give, what I receive type energy. Recognizing boundaries as an opportunity not to shut yourself off, not to control the situation, but to use that boundary to acknowledge the energy you're stepping into. So am I acting with boundaries from this place because I feel as if I've been hurt? Am I acting from boundaries from this place because all I do is give and I don't get back? Am I acting from this space because this is my higher self, actually, and the only boundary that I need is to stand into that? This week, our creative potential will be based on what we give and what we receive, and that will be based around the confusion that we have mentally of what that means, the law of manifestation, cause and effect, karmic cycles. All of this is coming to the forefront so that we can understand our place in it, our understanding of it, and our impact on the world with it. There is agency here, there is accountability to be had here, which can be uncomfortable. So it's about standing in that higher version of ourselves. Emotionally, that's where the change is going to come through. And, you know, if we're not sure this week, the best thing is to keep coming back into the body. What are we feeling? Either side, there's the 10 of Cups, the 4 of Cups, and smack bam in the middle is the 6 of Cups. Now, that's because I've moved things around. How you want to see it this week is going to be based on what you choose to focus on. And that is going to give you an opportunity to shift around your emotional priorities, or be aware that they are constantly shifting based on where you are. That's a perfectly normal process within the body. So we may feel disenchanted, and that can be an opportunity to sense into what brings us joy, what brings us harmony, what is going to open us up. We may feel really, really open, and that can be an opportunity to help others to move beyond any disenchantment that they feel. Emotionally this week, allow what we feel to be the indicator. Do we need to receive? Are we in a place of giving? You know, with the Hermit card this year, it isn't about stepping away from everything, but it also isn't about being in the spotlight as well. It's about recognizing when you need to be outside and, you know, showing your light, and when you need to come within. And the biggest doorway to figuring that out is the body. If we don't listen to that, yes, we may end up giving when actually we need to be receiving. And that can bring a lot of illusions, disillusions with the world that we are part of. So one more card for the whole week, and then we're going to call. We're nearly 33 minutes. How beautiful is that? You know, I could really use this moment to talk about Christ consciousness and da da da. This week, some of the disillusion is going to come from repetition, and it's going to be disillusions. It's going to be, I want to find a word for it. It's not petty. It's not petty. It's not immature. It's going to feel immature because we have outgrown them. We have outgrown a lot of the things that are coming up this week, particularly the things with repetition. And it's almost like on a soul level, we want to search for more from within us. I'm being guided, particularly with this cold, and that's where the root chakra goes all over the place. Particularly with this cold, that I want to take my healing to the next level. There's so much more to me out waiting, you know, and that can be some of the things that we feel this week. Okay, so one card. One card to rule them all. 2 of Cups and the 10 of Swords. We're going to have 2 cards, and we have the Fool just visible underneath. There's a wonderful opportunity coming, not yet, but coming in every moment, I guess. And it is funny trickster energy as well. It's joyful energy. There's a light energy underneath it all. There's a strategy underneath it all. It's about which one we choose to connect to. 2 of Cups on the one hand. Do we seek deeper contracts with each other, deeper relationships with ourselves, deeper acknowledgement of the earth beneath us and the interaction that we have and what we create as a result? Or on the other side, the 10 of Swords. Do we get caught in our mindset of that repetition and feeling as if the world is just stabbing us in the back and there's nothing that we can do? Underneath it all, there's always a chance to Embrace something new. There's always an opportunity. We have the Chinese New Year of the snake coming up with the new moon as well. There's always an opportunity in every sunrise, in every breath, in every way that we see ourselves and each other to do so from a different perspective. But we must acknowledge first where we are envisioning what is occurring around us. Take care. Have an incredible week, and I shall see you post new moon and Chinese New Year. See you then.